My name's Jim Butler. I'm the owner, along with my wife, of Butler Winery in Bloomington. I started in winemaking actually working at Oliver Winery in 1976. So I grew up in Ohio, but I went to IU here in Bloomington and then moved to Minnesota. And then we moved back and I got a job there. So in 76, and I was there from 76 to 82. So that was my beginning. The main struggle in starting a winery is it's capital intensive. And it's a very slow process to get a winery going. If you're making beer, you can have a beer ready in 30 days. If you're making wine, it's going to take 3 months to 3 years. And if you plant a vineyard, you put another 3 to 4 years on top of that. So it's a very long-term, capital-intensive business. There's no get-rich-quick overnight type of thing. The secret trick is you work 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. That's how you do it. Just, show up every day and do the work and live cheaply for a while. We started the winery in downtown Bloomington on College Avenue, and we still have a shop there, a tasting room. And then we bought this property in '91, and we started planting the first grapes in '92 and moved the wine production out here in the mid-'90s. And then we just kept adding on to this space. We've got a little over 5 acres planted right now, and they're what people refer to as the French hybrids. These are grapes that were developed in France in the later 1800s, and it turns out they work really well for us here. So the reason we picked this location is we're up on a high ridge here, Dolan Ridge. We're about 300 feet above the Bean Blossom Valley, and so cold air drains into the valley in the spring and you miss those late spring frosts. And so it's also a water drainage. Grapes like to have dry feet. You don't want to plant them in a wet spot. Ridgetops, this sort of what we call the Indiana Uplands, which is a viticultural area, which is Martinsville South in the central part of the state. This is the remnants of the old plateau that wasn't overtopped by the glaciers. So we have these ridges and valleys, and it's just a good topography for fruit growing, not just grapes, but apples, peaches, and other things. In general, we are not like California. California, it tends to be more like Bordeaux. Our climate in the eastern United States tends to be more like Burgundy. The grapes are not coming in quite as high sugar because we don't have that really hot, dry climate. California, they're mostly growing grapes in what would be desert areas if they couldn't irrigate them. Here we don't have to irrigate, we get summer rains. We have a shorter season than they do in California. So if you take California winemaking and flip it 180 degrees, you have the eastern US. So our sugars don't go up as high, but our acids don't drop as low. California, they have to add acid usually to their wines because the acids are so low because of the climate. So it's very different. They say we're more like Burgundy or Northern Europe, or Northern Italy, probably I'd say. If you go to California where they have 4,000 or 5,000 wineries in the state, you can specialize and just do 1 or 2 grapes or 1 or 2 varieties. But here we make reds, whites, sweets, dry, kind of cover the range. We make 4 to 5 wines, port styles, things like that. We do quite a few fruit wines as well. They're really popular here. My personal preferences go towards some of the dry reds that we do and some of the sweeter whites. But I guess I really lean towards the wines that we make from our grapes here. Chardonel, which is white, it's a dry white that we barrel ferment. We make Chambourcin, which is a red, make it as a dry style. We make a rosé out of the Chambourcin. We're also growing Vidal Blanc. We make a champagne out of that, or I should say sparkling wine. We don't say champagne anymore. We probably make 6 or 8 different sweet wines. We have the Vineyard series, we call it, and these are Concord and Catawbas. Those are your native North American varieties, very grapey flavors. Then we do, say, the late harvest Vignoles. The fruit wines are mostly all sweeter ones as well. A unique wine would be black currant, which if you've ever had black currants before, they're a very intense, sort of a piney, minty characteristic to them. They're very tart. They have vitamin C in them. Everybody in Northern Europe knows currants because it's a source of vitamin C in Northern Europe where they don't have orange juice. So we buy Indiana's entire production of black currants at this point. The way we do groups or tastings, it's all sit down now, and so you get a tray with a sheet on it, and you can write the wines on there that you would like to try, and then we'll bring you samples of those wines. Since COVID, there's no more over-the-bar tasting here. And we see that trend throughout the wine industry quite a bit now, a lot more towards sit-down tasting. And we find that people like it better because they can sit and talk with their friends. They don't have somebody behind the bar interrupting their personal discussions. We're grape growers, and so I relate it to music. If you're just a singer, you can sing any music, and anybody can sing that music. But if you're a singer-songwriter, you have your own songs, your own music, and your own style. So if you're a grape growing winery, then the wines are going to be unique to your place that nobody else is going to be able to duplicate. This video is sponsored by Top Shelf Tours.
Hi, I'm Rob Zajac, owner of Top Shelf Tours. If you like this winery, check out our website, topshelf.tours, to schedule a day of wine tastings with all your friends at wineries just like this one.